Hi everyone, today we will continue with the discussion of chapter 12, that is Understanding the Earth. So the learning objectives of this video will be description of rocks and minerals, features of rocks, difference between rocks and minerals, and basis of classification of rocks. Okay, so let's start with the basic description of rocks and minerals. First, what do we mean by a mineral? A mineral is a naturally occurring inorganic substance which contains one or more elements with definite physical and chemical properties. For example, diamond, potassium, fluoride, and quartz are few examples of minerals. The study to know about minerals or the study of minerals is called as mineralogy. For example, if you have seen the last video relating to this chapter, so the study to know about the structure of earth was called as geology. So here's the new term, that is mineralogy, to study the minerals and their structures. So next is rocks. Rocks are natural masses of mineral matter in the crust of the earth. In the previous video you have seen that the outermost layer, that is crust, it comprises of rocks and minerals. So rock is also known as a solid mineral material which forms the part of the surface of earth and other similar planets apart from earth also, and it is exposed on the surface or the underlying the soil. So in subsoil regions also and upper on the surface also we can find rocks which are of different shapes and sizes. For example, marble is also a rock, basalt is also a rock, the chalk that we use, that is also a part of, is also a type of rock. So these are the basic examples. Let's proceed further to know more about rocks and its features. What are the features of rocks? Yes, we need to know about the features of rocks to identify that how rock is different from a mineral. Tell me one thing, is a marble same as a the chalk that we use in the classes? No. So each and every rock has different identification, have different classification and different kind also. So the types of rock we will discuss later, but right now we need to know the basic features about rocks. First and foremost feature is rocks have different shape, colors and textures. That's true. If you will observe some of the examples, then you will be able to easily identify that how they differ in shape, texture and color. For example, if you will see these two images given on the screen, the first image is a rock which almost looks like grains, very smaller parts of the rocks, and on the other hand there is a huge rock which was dropped off as a glacier was melted. So each and every rock has its own unique feature and its own unique identity. The second feature is that rocks are composed of one or more minerals. Composed here means that they are made of more than one mineral, and we can take up the example of granite here. The granite consists of minerals like quartz, feldspar and biotite, and quartz further includes silicon and oxygen also. So a rock does not consist of any single mineral, but rather it has more than one minerals which further can have more elements, like we saw the example of granite. So that third important feature is that rocks with large quantities of any particular metallic mineral is called an ore. For example, if you will see on the left hand side image, hematite is an ore of iron and bauxite is an ore of aluminium. So if any one particular rock have more quantity of a metallic mineral, then it becomes its ore. So the fourth feature says that not all rocks are hard rocks. There are rocks which have compact features also, which have loose particles also. For example, the diamond shape given on left hand side is an example of hard rock, whereas the right hand side image which shows clay and components of mud and sand, that is an example of compact rocks which have loose particles which can absorb all in the water easily and which do not resist water much. Now that we know about the basic features of rocks and also we know about the basic description about minerals, it's time to know that how rocks are different from minerals. If we are given example of two elements, then how can we identify that one is rock and the other is mineral? So there are 6 pointers given here. First one is that rocks are irregular in shape and they are bumpy in nature, whereas minerals are smooth, flat surface, 3D and crystal structures. So we have discussed this earlier also, that rocks do not have a definite shape, they do not have a definite structure, whereas minerals on the other hand, they have flat and smooth surfaces. Next one is rocks can be organic and minerals, they are always inorganic. The organic here means which are naturally extracted, which can be naturally derived from the nature. So minerals cannot be naturally extracted. The next one is rocks are composed of minerals, as we saw in the features of rocks, that rock is made up of more than one mineral, and on the other hand minerals are building blocks of rocks. So without minerals rocks cannot be formed. Next fourth point is no fixed chemical composition is there in rocks, but in minerals there is fixed chemical composition. Rocks can be made of more than one mineral, more than two minerals, whereas minerals have proper chemical compositions. Next one is the study of rocks is called as petrology, whereas the study of minerals is called as mineralogy. For example, limestone, clay, stone, and coal, these are few examples of rocks, and on the other hand, zinc, iron, sodium are examples of minerals. Now, I hope you are able to know or you are able to differentiate between rocks and minerals. Our next topic is classification of rocks. Before I tell you about this, you should know that there are three types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic. These three rocks we will discuss about it in detail in the next video. But to find out or to differentiate between these three rocks and to classify between rocks, there are 3 pointers which we have discussed in the features as well. The very first feature or the very first basis of classification is appearance. How a rock looks like also decides that whether it's igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic. The next pointer is formation. How the rock is formed, which process it has undergone, that also decides that whether it comes into the category of igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic. The last point is kind of minerals constituted. Very important point, that which all minerals are constituted or which all minerals are comprised up in this rock, that also decides that whether this rock is igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic. Now I hope you are clear with the following points. That is, now you can define rocks and minerals. You can also state at least 4 features of rocks. Then you can differentiate between rocks and minerals, and finally you can tell 3 pointers on which the rocks can be classified. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.